Hi, friends. Lauren here. This week's guest is Debbie Adler. She is the vegan cookbook goddess and titan of the granola industry. She dishes on her past relationship with Ray Romano, talks about how sugar causes wrinkles, and lists off the top 18 anti-aging foods. Plus, she shares a hack that's going to change your beauty routine forever. If you are looking for some whole food plant-based recipes for health and weight loss, please go to my website, wellelephant.com, and download my free cookbook. I want to thank each and every one of you for listening. You have made Age Like a Badass Mother one of the top 10% of all podcasts, and it means the world to me. I greatly appreciate it. So please keep spreading the word. And don't forget, you can watch us on Spotify and YouTube now. Thanks for listening. Hi, friends. I'm Lauren Bernick, and I'm flipping the script about growing older. My guests have been influencers since before that was even a thing. Welcome to the Anti-Aging Podcast. Welcome to Age Like a Badass Mother. Debbie Adler is the founder and CEO of the vegan, gluten-free, sugar-free, oil-free granola company, Sweet Debbie's. She is the author of the critically acclaimed cookbook, Sweet Debbie's Organic Treats, Allergy-Free and Vegan Recipes from the famous Los Angeles Bakery, which was named a Best Gluten-Free Cookbook by Delicious Living magazine, a favorite cookbook by Gluten Free and More magazine, and a Best Vegan Cookbook by Green Vegan Living. Debbie has also authored the popular vegan cookbooks Sweet, Savory, and Free, and most recently, The Mediterranean Plate. Please welcome the ageless Debbie Adler.
Oh, boy.
Yes, I'm holding up your beautiful cookbooks,
You
which I
have
just
it?
absolutely love. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so glad to see you, Debbie.
Yeah, it's so nice to see you too. We're usually just texting or talking on the phone, so it's nice to see your beautiful punum.
Nice to see your beautiful punum. Okay, that's face for all you non-Jews out there. We're gonna have a subtitles. So let me start by asking, how old are you, Debbie?
I'm 62.
That's impossible. You guys, you can watch this on Spotify or YouTube, but you have to see Debbie. She truly is ageless. How old do you feel?
I do feel better than I did in my 20s, because in my 20s, I remember feeling like I had no energy. And for whatever, I wasn't eating right. You know, in college, you're not eating right. Who knew back then all about what we know now? So I feel like I have energy. I feel like I can do anything. I have, you know, luckily mobility and stuff like that. So I feel like I took a test. Have you ever taken that test where you find out your what is it called?
Oh yeah,
Not your
your
chronological
like biological age
biological age,
or
not your
something like
right,
that versus your
biological,
chronological. Yeah.
right, based on your lifestyle.
Oh yeah. So for people who don't know, the way you became the whole food plant-based granola queen that you are was mostly because of your son Sean's allergies, is that right?
Well, I actually started the business way back in 2006. That was 2 years before he was born. Not
Oh,
the granola part, my bakery.
okay.
So I had a vegan bakery, sugar free, before he was born, and then he was born with these terrible food allergies. All eight, he had all plus 8+ allergies. You know, dairy and egg and nuts and seeds. And then I made the bakery allergy free and gluten free. It wasn't gluten free before. He doesn't have a gluten allergy, but I realized there were a lot of kids who had
Right.
celiac and intolerance. So I actually started it before he was born because I was opposed to sugar. This is way before it was accepted. Now everybody knows about it. Everyone's all about, oh, I don't want any sugar. Back then, it was not as accepted. It was like, oh, so what? You know, a little sugar doesn't kill you. But I was very into that. No sugar. And that's when I started doing it myself because I couldn't find anything at the grocery store. I wanted cupcakes, I wanted sugar-free dessert. I have a sweet tooth. There was nothing available really. Everything had, the sucralose, which is poison. So I
Right.
said, okay, I'm going to have to figure this out myself. I never took a baking course. I never went to cooking school. I didn't really know how to do it, but I was very determined. So I did it. And then people said, oh, it's good. You should start a bakery. I said, okay. So I
Okay.
okay. So I did that. And so that's how it started.
And what did you sweeten things with?
Well, at the time, it changed. I started to use xylitol, which is a sugar alcohol, but people were having digestive issues with that, so I switched it to coconut nectar and a little bit of stevia. I don't use stevia anymore. People complain about that as well, so I just use coconut nectar or dark maple syrup, which is very high in minerals and vitamins. So those two
That's
things, or
so
dates.
good.
I use
Yeah,
dates as well.
dates. Mm,
Yeah.
okay, that's good. And so now you're kind of focused on the granola business.
So now it's just, yeah, an e-commerce granola business, right?
Okay, and do you have like different flavors each month, or how does that work?
Yeah, there are 9 flavors that are the same, and then every month there's a new flavor.
Ooh,
Yeah, like flavor of the month.
flavor of the month. Okay. So that keeps you busy. Well, I mean, like, I absolutely love your cookbooks and I've used them a lot. Out of your sweet, savory, and free, I've told you this before, your eggplant Parmesan Florentine is like my favorite. It has like red spots all over the recipe, so you know it's good from me cooking like, sauce all over it. But that's my absolute favorite. It's in my rotation. And so tell everybody like what you make the parmesan out of, because I thought this was genius. I use it all the time now.
So yeah, so it's just a combination of nuts and seeds, and so it's the pumpkin seeds, and I don't even remember a little some nooch, um,
Nutritional yeast.
right? Hemp seeds. I think
What's
there's some red pepper flakes in there to give it a little kick. Um,
Yeah.
Flower seeds.
Oh
Uh,
my
yeah,
gosh.
and it's so you crumble it up. You put it in maybe like a coffee grinder.
Right.
You make a little crumble out of it, and then you just pour it. And people say they have it in their fridge. They pour it over everything.
Me, I do. I do. I make this all the time now. It's one of my favorite things. So yeah, you're an incredible cook. You have, this great Instagram following, and if people should follow you and get your cookbooks if they haven't, because okay, so it's free of the top 8 allergens, which are what? Nuts, seeds,
Egg,
eggs,
wheat,
soy,
fish, soy, dairy,
shellfish.
yeah, shellfish,
Yeah,
peanuts.
tree nuts. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Gluten. Okay, yeah. Well, I hear that shellfish and fish make terrible cupcakes anyway, so that's probably good you didn't have those in your bakery. Um, one of the things you and I have talked about this before, but on the back of this, you have a little blurb from Ray Romano. It talks about how good your cookbook is.
Yeah.
How do you know Ray Romano?
Oh gosh. So in another lifetime, I was a stand-up comedian in New York. I'm from New York, and but before I even did that, Ray and I were in a class together at Queens College. I took a summer class at Queens College just to get some credits, so I could get to do something else. Take another class when I got back to college. So I just went to Queens College. It was close to my house. And he was doing the same thing. He went to Queens College full time, and he was there for summer school as well. We were in the same business law class, and so we sat next to each other, and we started dating. And so that's how I got to know him. And then that was when he first started his stand up career. And that was the time of boom boxes,
Oh my
and
god.
and he couldn't even afford one. So I would bring my boom box to his open mics and record his sessions, just so he could get some feedback and, hear what worked, what didn't work. I would schlep this boombox, and we did we did that for a while, and then he said, if your name was my my maiden name is Stambler, And so he says, "Well, if your name was Stamblerini, I would definitely marry you, but I need to marry an Italian girl." I said, "Well, yeah. I mean, if your name was Romanowitz, I would want to marry you too." So that was the end of that. And he went on to marry a very lovely girl named Anne, and that was it. But we've remained friends. And then he went on to, fame and fortune, and good for him. He's a really, really nice guy. And so good, he really deserves it. And so then when that book came out, I asked him, and he very kindly, and he has a food allergy too. He's allergic to peanuts.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Who knew? We're getting all the inside dirt here on Ray Romano. Allergic to peanuts. You heard it here first. And Ray Romano, a good kisser, Debbie?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, good. Good news. I'm glad. I would hate to hear otherwise. You don't want to hear that. So you have famously said, and you did stand-up comedy too, didn't you?
Oh, right.
You were saying that.
That was after, right. That was not during the time I was dating him. So that happened later when I had like this crisis where I realized I was living my life for my parents. I was a CPA in New York, and I was so unhappy. It was not me.
Yeah.
I was more creative. I knew I had something else in me that I needed to get out, and I quit accounting and I started doing acting and stand up. And so when I was, yeah, so so I took, courses and acting classes and all that. And that's when I started to do my own thing with stand up. It had nothing to do with Ray.
Okay. It's interesting that you kind of learned that so young, that you were living your life for your parents. A lot of people don't get that lesson until much later. How old were you at that point?
Oh, I was in my 20s, like mid 20, like 27, 27, 26,
That's
27.
good.
Yeah.
That's nice and early. A lot of people don't get that right away. Is
Mhm.
there something else that like you wish you had gotten sooner in life, that you like, a lesson that now seems so incorporated into your life, but something you wish you knew sooner?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had known that it's okay to not agree with your parents and you're still a good person, because I thought that I had to be the good daughter, and I could still be a good daughter but not agree with them. And I didn't understand that back then. Now I realize I should have stood up for myself and said, you know what, this isn't me. This isn't what I want. I am not this person that you're trying to mold. I need to do something else. And I didn't do that. And so I wasted a lot of years studying accounting, being an accountant. Those are precious years when you're in college. Those are formative years where if you're studying the thing you're meant to study, then you could use it later on. I mean, not to say I don't use it. Sure, I do my own books for my business, but really, anybody can at this point. When you have the right programs, anyone could do their own books. So I'm trying to rationalize it. Basically, is what I'm doing.
I use that accounting. No,
Oh,
well,
yeah,
that's good that you
yeah,
did get that early enough, but you wish you got it sooner.
yeah.
You also kind of famously have said that you have had a job that starts with every letter of the alphabet. You've had so many jobs. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. So A, I guess, was what, acting or accounting?
Accounting. No, accounting. It was accounting. B was oh gosh, B was like a B rated actress. I don't remember. I listed it in this email that I wrote many years ago, and I did have a job for every
Oh my
single
God.
letter of
Tell
the
me
alphabet.
some of them that you remember.
Yeah, so caterer, waitress, bookkeeper, uh, a bookie. I took bets.
Oh my God.
Uh, you know, uh,
Oh,
marketing. Like a marketing assistant, a production assistant. I did so many stupid jobs, like those call-in things.
oh, telemarketer.
Marketing.
Yeah, I did that.
just, things like that I did when I was here, when I first came to LA, just to have money so I could continue to audition, things at night that were dangerous,
Such as?
Yeah. Well, like telemarketing from like 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. and then you're walking home in the dark,
Yeah.
like that, were not safe.
Yeah.
I can't even remember. Yeah. So every possible thing you could do, I probably did.
That's incredible. And so you did some acting then?
Yeah. So I did. I did. I did get films. I didn't have my SAG card. I came out without my SAG card, and everyone said I was crazy. But I did get it's called Taft-Hartley. So when you're not in SAG, but the producer or the director want you in their film, they're really not committing a crime, but let's just say it's a crime in the SAG world because they really want you to use SAG actors, Screen Actors Guild actors, because those people are professionals. So when they don't use a SAG actor, but they are a SAG film, they have to what's called Taft-Hartley you into the film, which means they give you your SAG card, but they pay a fine to SAG
Oh.
for doing that. So I was apparently the only person that was right to play a whore on this film, and they couldn't find anybody else. And so I played this part, and they Taft-Hartley me into this part. So anyway, that was just like an aside. But yeah, so I did a lot of independent films that went nowhere, and I did the Amanda Show. She's such a sweet
The
girl, and
Amanda Show.
remember Amanda?
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Like she
she's
was
she
like
was
a teenage
a
girl?
yeah, she was a teenager, and her show was very, very
Yeah,
popular at
my
the
kids
time.
used to watch that. What'd
Right.
you play on the Amanda Show?
It was just like it was nothing. It was I don't even remember such a long. It was in the '90s when I first came out here. I just walked on and said something to her and walked on. It was not a big deal, but I just remember her being so sweet, and
Yeah.
I just see her now, and it looks like she's struggling a little bit. And it
Yeah.
makes me sad because she was the nicest young girl.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. I can't remember her last name, but yeah, my kids are like 31 and
Yeah,
30, so that they used to watch that show.
yeah.
They loved her. Um so all right. So what do you do to keep yourself so youthful? Tell us your like do you have a routine, or is it don't tell me it's genetic. I'm sick of hearing that.
Oh no. So I have physically. So this is not what you think it is. This is
What is that? She's
this is.
holding up. Okay, don't forget this is a podcast. Describe what you
Oh,
have.
okay. Sorry, I'm showing Lauren a stick that looks like it could be a vibrator, but it's not.
That doesn't look like a vibrator.
It's called a Lima laser, and so you just use it on your face. I mean, I've started to use it, and maybe it's working. So you just turn it on, and you put on this lotion they give to you, and you turn it on, and it's like this laser. And
Oh, it has the red light.
yeah, it's like a red light therapy, and I use that. So this is something that if you really want to, I don't know, I think it's working. So
Yeah.
this also is a Lima Lyma. It's a Lima laser that I
Lima.
use now that I think is working.
I think it
Um,
is.
yeah. So yeah, I just don't really know. I don't really know what else to do. Whatever comes out, whatever cream or lotion or I use.
I
Um,
know.
you
Like, do
know,
you get all the Instagram ads and then you buy
yeah,
something? Yeah.
yeah, and I do because like I'm such a chicken. I know I don't want to do surgery.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do fillers because I could see it on somebody immediately and they don't
Yes.
look right. They look like
Right.
bunnies. Everybody, like even if it's done well, I could tell.
Yeah.
And I
That's
just don't like that look. So I will
yeah.
never do that. I'm afraid of surgery. So I'm trying to just do what I can to to do it in a way that's safe. And yeah, whatever it does, it does. And if it doesn't work, then I'm just gonna live with the wrinkles and whatever else I have in store for me. But so far the lime is working and the the stupid, anti-aging hyaluronic
Yeah.
potion that they sell. They all have that stuff in it now. So I use that.
You're like me. I get all the Instagram ads. I should be hiding my phone because now we're going to get even more. But I'm like the sucker who will try, and I'm like, oh my god, look at this
Right.
person.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to be like that either. I really do want to be more accepting, but also I want to be the best that I can be for whatever I am with what
Yeah.
I have. But I know I'm the sucker too. I'll try all that stuff. But I also have like a red light mask that I've had it a couple months and I
Yeah.
do like it. I think that it's helping. I don't
Yeah. Yeah. You look great. You
know.
just do what they say, and you just have hope for the best.
I had a dermatologist on the other day and I asked her about the red light therapy and she's like she kind of specializes in allergies and so she's like, "Oh, I don't really know about that yet." I'm like, come on, lady. This is
Oh,
what
how could you not know about red light?
Yeah.
Oh,
And she's my age. She's 55 or 56 and she looks phenomenal. She doesn't do any fillers or Botox either, which is also refreshing to see that in a dermatologist.
yeah.
And she but she said she didn't know about she's like she's like I haven't heard anything bad, so that's the good news. I was like, okay. But yeah, I need to have somebody on who knows about red light therapy because I
Yeah.
think that it is. I mean, it's allegedly it stimulates collagen. Well, I don't know. But what
Yeah.
else? I mean, I know that the way you eat contributes. You
Right.
also talk about in one of your books the top 18 anti-aging foods.
That's right. It does help to eat plant based because you're not causing inflammation in your body, and sugar also disintegrates your cellular structure. So no sugar is good because I would say sugar causes wrinkles.
You think
And
so? Really?
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Disintegrates the walls of the cell, and that causes wrinkles in your skin.
Oh wow.
So that's another reason not to eat sugar. But yes, the 18 top anti-aging foods are in the book, The Mediterranean. Oh no, was it sweet? Oh no, The Mediterranean Plate, and that is basically the top.
What
And
are they? Oh yeah, here they are. Do you want me
yeah,
to read them?
please do.
Okay. Here they are. They are in the Mediterranean plate, the top 18 anti-aging foods. Almonds. What do those do?
It
Do you
has
know?
vitamin E. They have vitamin
Oh
E.
yeah, fatty acids, polyphenols, antioxidants, asparagus. That aids in vitamin C and vitamin E, fighting off free radicals.
Hmm.
Avocados, blueberries, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, carrots, cauliflower, cucumber, lima beans. Lima beans are awesome. You have a great garlic spice lima bean hummus recipe. Remember
Oh
when we
yeah,
were kids? That was like the thing that everybody hated.
I
But
know. Nobody likes
because
lima beans.
lima
I know.
beans, well, boiled, yeah, they're not great, but just, put a little spice on them. Kale, lemons. Oh, that's good. I love lemons. I go through so many lemons. Shiitake mushrooms, pomegranate seeds. That's good. I love pomegranate seeds.
Yeah.
Red bell pepper,
Hmm.
spinach, sweet potatoes, tomatoes. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. So those
Yeah.
are all like delicious foods.
Right. Yeah. It, I think it's the secret that we have to yell from the rooftops to keep people healthy. That's why we're so passionate about it, because we know personally how it saved our lives.
Yep.
And I wish all people would do it. I truly wish that killing animals was illegal. I
Yes.
mean, that's my goal in life, is to make it illegal. I really want it to be illegal for the animal's sake and for our sake.
Yeah. I know. It's so, you know, like I always say this, I don't want to shame anybody if they eat animals, but I think that if they saw like a dog on the side of the road that needed rescuing, they'd go help a dog. If they saw, you see all these videos of like these people and a calf escapes the truck that's going to take it to slaughter and everybody's like, "Yes, yes," and they help the
Mhm.
calf, but those same people might be eating a hamburger the next day or dairy. And,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
so where's the disconnect? Why would you help that calf, but yet you're paying for it in a different way? You're paying for a murdered animal.
Yeah. I I think it's something that we're ingrained to believe is okay from
Yeah.
a very young age, and it's hard to change. People find change difficult, and that and they don't want to give something up that they enjoy. However, there are ways to enjoy plant meat that will taste exactly like meat. They have plant lab they have lab meat now
Right.
that will taste exactly like steak if you want it. um, and so there is no reason to kill animals anymore. It's not in the market just yet, but um, it will be very soon, and hopefully it'll be affordable, so that everybody can partake, so that we don't have to kill animals. So I think it's just something that we're born and bred to believe we have to do for protein, and
Hmm.
it really is. It's not. It's really not true. We don't need meat for protein. We can get it in blueberries. We can get it in lettuce. We can get it in quinoa and beans and rice. Everything has protein.
Hmm.
There is not one food on the in the world that does not have protein. Everything has protein. So
Hmm.
people think, but there is some kind of this feeling like you need to eat meat for protein. It is so not true. And I think that's why people are getting so sick. We get too
Hmm.
much protein and we're eating meat that causes inflammation, and inflammation causes disease,
Right.
not to mention all the cholesterol.
Right. Exactly. And all the things that I just read off, and all the fruits and vegetables and legumes and whole grains are all, they're all anti-aging, and all even the it's so funny that every specialist that I have on, every doctor, for like the dermatologist that I had on the other day, I was just talking about, she was talking about um, eating a whole food plant based diet for your skin. And then I'll have on like Dr. Barnard, and he's talking about, you have to eat these foods for, so you don't get Alzheimer's, or what, for whatever condition, like Dr. Clapper, so you don't get heart disease, but so it's the same diet
With
for
all these
all of these.
benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To avoid disease and, the
Yeah.
wrinkling of your skin and all the
Right.
things that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Um, so let's move on. Okay, what we sort of touched on this, and you did have like a lot of, again, the chutzpah. Like, what do you think that you had the most chutzpah or balls about? Like, what in your life did
Oh
you
wow.
do that?
Well, yeah. The biggest balls I had were to leave everything I know and love in New York and to move out to California, knowing nobody. Sometimes I think about that and I realize that was pretty ballsy.
Oh yeah.
Can't believe I did that. I'm so glad I did, because everything about California really worked out for me. But to think about doing that now is so terrifying. Like, for me to just go to a different state and not know anybody, that would be so terrifying. But I did it because I was so desperate for a change in my life. So I think that was the biggest thing I ever did.
Yeah, that's some big balls. What's your best piece of advice for aging well? What do you
Well, I think the most important thing is not to let people's opinions get to you, not to care so much about the outside world, and to just be okay with the chaos around you and to be at peace, because it's so easy to get caught up in the chaos, and that ages you, because the stress creates cortisol in our bodies, and the cortisol creates disease and it causes aging. So the thing to do, which is also very hard to do, but it's important, is to just let the chaos happen, because there will always be chaos.
Mhm.
There's always going to be something happening that you're not happy about, maybe that you're not even in control of, and just to have that stillness and calm, and know that everything's going to work out, the way it should. And you may not know that until maybe 10 years later, because when
Right.
things are happening that you say, why is this happening to me? This shouldn't be happening. I didn't want this. It was what? Wow, I'm such an idiot. This mistake I made. I shouldn't have done that. But sometimes things that you don't think are things that you want end up being a blessing, because I believe the universe works in mysterious ways that you will eventually see why those bad things happened. And you'll say, oh, and those bad things have led you to the good things that you will have in
Yeah.
your life later on.
Do you have some kind of practice like meditation or yoga that you do? Or
Yeah, I
stillness?
I do meditate. I have the Deepak Chopra and Oprah meditations on an app that I
I've done
bought.
those.
I think I bought almost all of them, because Deepak Chopra has very intuitive and very unique insights into living that I find profound. And
Yes.
he's like my therapist.
Yes.
So he always does a little intro to the meditation, and he'll say his little piece, because each little meditation has a theme. And I love those themes. And then you do like a 20-minute. Oprah says something too, and then they go into the meditation, and he gives you a little mantra to say over and over.
Right.
And I find those very helpful. So I do that.
Yeah, I've done those before, like in a challenge, and I love his mantras, and they are helpful to just kind of keep repeating that and letting it go. What's some advice that you've held on to from Deepak?
Um, oh gosh, he talks about every moment is like a lifetime, and I really try to take that in, because sometimes we just waste our moments and we say, oh, I'll do that tomorrow, or yeah, things will get better next year, or whatever you're saying to yourself. You're always thinking about the future, or you're worrying about the past, but all we have is this moment now, and we can do so much in that moment, and make make the most of that moment by just the way we think about it. Like, this is all we have.
Hmm.
And so that he says it in a much more eloquent way, but that's the gist.
Yeah, he's Deepak. He's yeah, and something along those lines. I remember reading a really long time ago, but it's always stuck with me. I don't even know where I got this, but somebody said that we spend the majority of our life doing like the same five things, like going to the grocery store, cooking, driving the kids to school, doing the laundry, whatever it is. Your five things are different than my five things, let's say. But,
Yeah.
don't make those things dreadful, because those are the things that you do on a regular basis. Those are your things that you're doing.
Right.
So like I really took that to heart, and it's like when I'm folding the laundry, I try to see that as like some downtime where I could just let my mind flow, or same doing the dishes, or going to the grocery store. I try to enjoy that, and talk to some people or whatever. Now I'm the
Yeah.
old lady in the grocery store chatting people up. Hey, how's it going? and the lady's probably like, I gotta go pick up my kids from school. Leave me alone, lady. So I mean, but those are the truths that it kind of ties into
Right.
what you're saying. Like, we only have these moments that
Right.
you just have to try to make the best out of them. Um, do you have a best piece of advice that you've ever received? It doesn't have to be about aging.
I've never received good advice.
Debbie.
I I really haven't, and it really bothers me that I haven't, because I have had to struggle every step of the way and find my own good advice. And as I've aged, that's why I'm 62 and still trying to figure it out. Um, but I do read a lot, and I the advice that I have now, because I'm so old and because I've lived so long.
Don't say you're old. Say you've lived a long
Yeah,
time.
so yeah, I've lived all these years. So when you live all these years, you become wiser. You really can't help but become wiser because you've lived so long. And so what I've garnered in all these years are things that I think I mentioned, but they're so important, is to be who you are and don't apologize for it. And you are who you are for a reason. And you're not meant to be that other person that you're admiring, saying, oh, I wish I had that life. No, it's you have your life because you are meant to have your life. And whatever unique qualities you bring to it were meant for you to bring to the world. The world needs you for
Yes.
whatever you bring, whatever unique things that you bring to the world. That is your gift to the world, and not to envy other people, because I did have that problem early on, was always envying other people that I thought had a better life,
Sure.
who were more successful, who were whatever. And I always had that issue of envying more successful women, whatever. But I realize I have my own path, and I have to live that path and bring what I have to bring to the world. Um, and it took me a long time to realize that. That's just through living and just growing wiser and realizing I was hurting myself. It's so counterproductive to have those feelings of envy. It's so counterproductive
Yeah.
to being living your best life, because you just feel badly about yourself when you're
Hmm.
comparing, and that's not helpful.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. You're here for your unique gifts. And um, that I learned that envy thing. Also, this is a crazy story. I was walking into the gym one day, and this is before I was whole food plant based, and I weighed like 20 pounds more than I do now. And this lady was walking in front of me, and I mean, she had the tightest little body, and I thought to myself, if I had that ass, I would rule the world. And she turned around and she had a hook for her arm, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, I'm gonna take my ass any day. I was like, thank you God for this ass, this body, my healthy limbs. I in that moment I was like, I will never ever want what I think somebody else has, because you don't know what's going on. Your life is probably so much better.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
didn't even get to that part, but you're right. That's a great story, because that's what I realized later on was what you just said is you don't know what's going. And I have envied all the famous actresses, all the people you would want to. And I realize that when you start to learn more about their lives, it's a lot of stuff that you don't want, and that comes with the territory. And you just have to be grateful that you have your life. And so yeah, that's a very good story that
Mhm.
proves that point.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'll never forget that. It was very shocking. It was yeah, so you definitely, I think that's a good point that you made. What I know that so your dad passed away, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
but what did you learn from watching your parents age?
Oh, so I learned from my dad to shave your face. So
Yes.
when I looked at my parents, my mom is 9 years younger than my dad, and then my dad had much better skin than my mom. I mean, my mom is beautiful; she's beautiful, but I noticed that he was aging better than her, and he was 9 years older. And I was like, what is the difference? Because I know my mom was taking better care of her skin. What is the difference? And then one day I see him shaving. I was like, oh, my dad shaves. My mom doesn't shave her face. And I thought that is the key. He shaves his face. That's why he has such smooth skin on his face. And I thought, I'm going to do that. So I started shaving my face.
Yes.
And that's another thing I do. And it I think it works.
I think it does too. You know what? It's so funny. A friend of mine told me that a few years ago because, I'm like dermaplaning and doing all this stuff to get your peach fuzz off. But also, I think you're right. She's like, you should shave your face instead of doing all that stuff. And she's like, and it's better for your skin. I guess maybe it's exfoliating or it's getting
Yes.
rid of that. Do you think it's getting rid of the dead
Yeah.
layer
The
of
top
skin?
layer. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. I know. And so we have to bring this out in the open, ladies, because I think some people are even like I do it in the shower. I shave my face and I'm always like, oh, please, God, don't let my husband walk in here. I don't want him to see me shaving my face.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that it's true. It's good for you.
Mhm.
Do
Yeah.
you shave your face in upward strokes or down, or it doesn't matter?
Oh, I don't not down, definitely not down, but I think when you go like this, like
Like
I just
to
don't
the
want to cut my
diagonal? The
on
podcast.
the yeah. So what I do is I hold my skin. I think because if
Okay.
it's a little loose, you could cut yourself. So
Right.
you just make it taut,
Okay.
hold it as it because it's taut, and then I just go on the diagonal on each cheek like that, and then hold on the diagonal across, and that's it. And that's all I do. Very simple.
Oh my God. I'm so happy we are talking about this because I've wanted to bring this up and I guess I just forget about it or it's never worked itself into the conversation. So that's good. Okay, you heard it. You're getting all the scoop. Ray Romano's allergic to peanuts. Shave your face. Okay. We're covering it all. Do you have a favorite health or beauty product? Oh, I guess we might have talked about that. Is your Lima laser or
Yeah, the Lima laser is a new favorite. I just started using my Lima laser, and I am in possession of way too many beauty products right now. I couldn't even give you a name because I'm using all of them. I think the latest one was Pacifica. I'm doing
oh
their
yeah, I've used that.
Pacifica Fountain of Youth serum. So that's what I'm using now. But I do have a lot, and I don't even have room for it. They're all falling off my my ledge. I need a new ledge. I think I have to build shelves in my bathroom for all the stuff I have.
Oh
So
my
I'm just
God.
trying it all.
I know, because then you're like, all right, this doesn't work. And then you order the next thing and you just start
Yes.
using that.
Next.
Next. Um, which public person do you admire for their approach to aging?
Well, I do admire the two Janes. I admire Jane Goodall and Jane Fonda for two very different reasons. I think Jane Fonda is an anomaly, of course. I mean, she's just beyond, but I think she's a good example of what is possible. And
Yes.
when you look at her and her energy, her age, I mean, she just defies it all. She's active. She's an activist. She's gorgeous. She's everything that a woman should aspire to because she speaks her truth. She
Yes.
doesn't care. If you don't like her, that's okay with her. And
Yeah.
she's an activist for things she believes in, whether it's popular or not. She does it
Mhm.
because she believes it. And Jane Goodall, of course, because she loves animals and she takes care of the animals. And she doesn't do anything, I don't think, in particular. I mean, maybe we should interview her and ask, but
I
I
would
don't think
love
she
to.
does anything in particular to take care of her face or whatever. But she's so beautiful because of who she is, because of her
Yes.
humanity. And I
Yes.
love that about her.
I'm going to give that answer an A plus. Yes. Absolutely. Jane Fonda has lived her truth and was very unpopular for a long time, like during the Vietnam War. And I mean, going way back, and she's still an activist. She gets arrested like all the time.
And she loves when she gets arrested because she knows it's going to make the news, and that's what she wants.
She's incredible. And Jane Goodall, you're absolutely right. She's also incredible. Um, and what's your favorite concert you've ever been to?
Yeah, that's a hard one because I know that you go a lot to concerts. So, I mean, I don't go a lot. So I can name like five, and then that's all the ones that I've ever been to. But I would say the best one was Celine Dion. I saw her quite a few, oh gosh, probably like 17 years ago in Las Vegas.
Oh wow.
Um, I didn't realize at the time that she is the funniest person on the planet. I had no idea.
She
She just,
seems like
yeah, I mean, now we see her personality, but at the time, she was just the most amazing singer. You heard her voice. She was singing all the movie albums, but to see her in person, you see how funny she is. She makes fun of herself. She's very irreverent. She is a blast. So to see her in concert with that voice and then her sense of humor was very it was really eye opening, and it was so refreshing to see that she's just hilarious.
That's always so nice to hear. I mean, I lately have seen her personality come out, and she seems like she's irreverent. Um, she's somebody who's had, man, talk about somebody you would like think to envy, and then just turning out to have such a tough life. She's had, what does she have?
It's a
Frozen.
disease where it's like tightening of the skin.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of it.
Something like something person or stiff person. Is that what
Oh,
it's
right.
called?
Stiff person syndrome. Yes.
That's so sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, but she's an incredible person. Well, Debbie, I think we've covered it. You have, is there anything else? Did we leave anything out?
Well, yeah, you and I could just go on forever. So,
I
yeah, we
know.
got to stop somewhere.
We got to stop. I feel like we really, opened, I feel like we've changed people's lives today with the shaving of the face. Uh, I swear, guys, ladies, you give that face a shave and you tell me if that is not the best thing. Email me at Lauren at agelikeabadassmother.com. I'm not joking. Tell me, tell me how shaving your face
Yes,
has,
it works.
I mean, first of all, not only to make your skin gorgeous, but just the peach fuzz. I mean, you won't have to deal with that. No waxing and all this stuff. Okay, we're starting a revolution, Debbie.
Yes, I hope, I hope for the better.
For the better. All right. Thanks, Debbie. I love you. Take
Okay, I
care.
love you too, Lauren.
All
Thank you for
right.
having
All
me.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, friend. From my heart to yours, be well until we meet again.